There is no doubt that Tupac's early, chronic exposure to police harassment influenced his later creativity. As an artist, Tupac explored death-related themes relentlessly, and living during his boyhood with dedicated revolutionaries who lived under constant surveillance, no doubt instilled the chronic paranoia that others noticed in Tupac the Man. Mutulu talks about it this way: "I think that when people get discouraged with others, it creates a very sad emotion. We all have been, at one time or another, disappointed with someone, and we respond to that disappointment. Some of us respond differently, and there are some of us who might withdraw altogether. I think the movement, or the failure of it, and including when I went underground, was something Tupac felt bad about. I think that it was a good period in his life to be active, to focus more on family, with the tension, pressure, and the smell of gunfire being a prevalent circumstance in our life. Local police, the FBI, and the intelligence department of this country had a full court press on many of the people that Tupac had learned from. Most of his uncles, and all of the people that took care of him when Afeni and I couldn't, had been in jail, killed, had been arrested, or were just a part of that environment. So he had lived that. That's not a lyric without experience. That's experience." Early on, Afeni focused on ensuring that Tupac would escape their impoverished conditions. She made Black Prince his official nickname, and for misbehaving, he would have to read the entire edition of the New York Times. But Afeni couldn't shield him from every problem. Because they were usually broke, they moved around a lot. Tupac, his mom, and his half-sister Sechwa moved from the Bronx to Harlem and through a series of homeless shelters. The future rap icon moved around so much that he wasn't really from anywhere. Tupac's lack of a permanent home, coupled with the politically violent world around him, hindered Tupac's social skills. The superstar figure who many would later imitate felt like he didn't fit in anywhere, and the mystery of who his real father was only added to his feelings of isolation. Tupac was 5 years old when he met his father, Billy Garland, but they never had a significant relationship. And over time, Tupac's fatherlessness wore him down. He felt unmanly, and when his cousins teased him that his face looked girlish, it hurt. Recently, Jamil Hassan, one of Tupac's friends from those days, recounted the time he spent with Pac when the two of them were shorties. Currently a rapper with the Black Panther Fugitives, a positive-themed rap group, Jamil lived for a number of years in Pac's household in New York. Like Tupac, both Jamil's parents were members of the Black Panther Party, and extremely active in the movement, just like Tupac's. Jamil's father sang with the Panther group The Lumpin'. When Jamil's parents split, Jamil and his mother landed in New York, where she was friends with Afeni. Jamil remembers it this way: "Back in '80, that's when me and Pac were going to Black Liberation Army rallies. I was on the congas and Pac would be up there reciting poetry like he was Langston Hughes or some shit. We were real revolutionaries then. While our partners was at arcades, fairs, and the movies doing kid shit, we was on stage in front of thousands of people, not even tripping off the ramifications of what we were doing. All we knew was that we had to free Uncle So-and-so, that was our mama's friend, someone who frequented our house or family. Back in those days, it was going down for real." Right around that time, me and Pac was starting to feel our nuts, so to speak. When our parents were away fighting cases, which they always were, we was out doing wild shit, like robbing liquor stores. We stayed in Manhattan. When Tupac's mother was at work, we would go to Afeni's sister's, Pac's Aunt Jean's house in the Bronx. Or else we'd go to Gaddafi's mom, Yasmin Fula's house in Brooklyn. Everybody was in the projects in the late 70s, early 80s. Pac's cousins from his mom's side, Billy and them, used to torment us. They would put in hot sauce in our noses when we were asleep. Once they made Tupac jump out of a 12-foot window into a 6-foot pool. To escape his troubles, Tupac turned to writing, filling journals with love songs and poetry. In his mind, he took the first step in becoming one of the world's greatest MCs, proclaiming in his journal that he was going to be famous. Afeni noticed her Prince's artistic abilities and enrolled Tupac in Harlem's 127th Street Ensemble, a theater group. It was there that he got his first role, playing Travis in A Raisin in the Sun. It was also where he found his challenge as well as his escape. In acting, he could step away from his problems, be someone else for a while, and feel free. But his refuge was short-lived. Tupac was 15 when his stepfather Matula was arrested on federal racketeering charges and indicted for robbing banks to finance a militant organization. During that robbery, 2 Nyack, New York policemen and a Brinks armored car guard were killed. Mutulu was also charged with aiding his radical sister, Assata Shakur, in escaping prison. Tupac's stepfather went underground, and the FBI responded by putting him on their 10 most wanted list. So in June 1986, the Shakur family moved again, this time to Baltimore. East Baltimore, Greenmont Avenue to be more precise, a dangerous derelict area when Pac lived there. Things were tough at first for Tupac. He had a weird name. Some guys called him a girl, and he didn't wear trendy clothing. Darian Bastfield was one guy who did befriend Pac then, and remained friends with the star to the end. Bastfield recalled Pac as a skinny 13-year-old in shabby clothes, saying, "He may have looked uncool, but he blew the school away at a talent show. He gave an electrifying performance." His teachers remembered him as a very gifted student. But even though he loved literature, he hid this fact from his peers in order to try to fit in. It didn't help. The other kids dissed him anyway, first during his time at Roland Park Middle School, and then again during his freshman year at Paul Laurence Dunbar High School. So the next September, his mother enrolled him in the Baltimore School for the Arts, giving Tupac a chance to return to the arts for comfort and challenge. Tupac learned a few things he didn't expect at the School for the Arts. Contrary to some of the beliefs his Black Panther mentors taught, Pac realized he could trust some white people. So he started adding a few white friends to his crew in school. However, he was still 100% Tupac, and he remained outspoken about racial equality. Tupac resumed the creative studies he'd last pursued in New York, studying acting and ballet, and reading books on Eastern religions, and even entire sets of encyclopedias. Darren Bastfield, who had also transferred to the art school, recalled Tupac's encounter there with Salt and Pepper, as well as the wild night of the 1988 senior prom. It was also there where Tupac met one of the more important females who would remain in his life. Classmate Jada Pinkett acted as his personal muse, becoming both the sometime subject of the young Tupac's poetry and also his close friend. They even made a music video at King's Dominion, where they lip-synced to Will Smith's Parents Just Don't Understand. While Will and Jada eventually became a couple, the three of them remained lifelong friends. Tupac's life had begun to look up. He felt more in touch with himself, and soon fell into Baltimore's rap scene. In his new, smaller southern scene, his New York background gave him a tough reputation, and he milked it, winning a measure of respect and composing his first rap song under the name MC New York. Rapping about gun control, the song was inspired by the fatal shooting of one of his close friends. How much of his tough guy image was acting? Circumstances would test that question soon enough. Hindered by her burgeoning drug addiction, as well as her Panther resume, Afeni had trouble finding work. So, before Tupac could finish high school, his family fled again. To live with a friend in Marine City, California, a city nicknamed the Jungle. Not far from Oakland, and just a stone's throw from Berkeley, the Panthers' birthplace. Tupac later described his uprooting from the Baltimore Art School and crash landing in California as where I got off track. Hassled occasionally for playing loud music, he showed contempt for law enforcement when it showed up, but he didn't look for trouble. His family life in chaos, Shakur drifted into Oakland street gang life, moving in with a neighbor and selling drugs, and managed to accumulate a criminal record with 8 arrests by the start of his 20s. However, despite dealing drugs in Marine City, Tupac had no actual criminal record before his recording career.
get, you know what I'm saying, this predicament, the same predicament, you know what I'm saying? We young, we trying to strive to make it, and you always got the justice system trying to put us under, you know what I'm saying? It's jealousy. But I feel like this, you know, I'm behind Snoop and whatever he's, you know what I'm saying, whatever he's standing for, because I feel like he's innocent. It doesn't matter if you mainstream, hardcore rap, or R&B. It doesn't matter what. We can all be in the same position at any given time. And they show it to us at every instance. They show you that they will snatch you up out of your career, out of your good life, and put you on court and make you fight for your life.
Believe in yourself and don't let nobody stop you from doing what you got to do. You got to have faith. If you can't find faith in the world, find faith in God, find faith in yourself, but you got to have faith. Today, every young black male needs to be physically inclined and military minded. And this is part of the military mind. The soldiers are out there. Okay. I'm happy to be here. I just love the crowd, the atmosphere, you know. I got shot. I always felt like I'd be shot, but I didn't think it was going to happen at that particular moment. My mother was a Black Panther, so all of my roots to the struggle are real deep. When I was young, I read a lot, I wrote poetry. I would have been a totally different person had I not been exposed to these things. We live in hell. We live in the gutter. We are living in a war zone. By the time you get out your house, you strapped to protect yourself. So I thought I'm gonna show the most graphic details of what I see, and hopefully they'll stop it. I'm doing it for the kid that really lives a thug life and feels like it's hopeless, that it's like I reach him. One of these days, we gotta bust back for the home, man. Half my fans are white. They listen just as much as the black fans. My fans know that I'm real. I was 22. I felt like now I got every man in America who wants to know what I want to do. How you gonna be a man and we start? Wants to know what's my plan, and I was scared. All of a sudden, I got the whole world fearing me.
There is absolutely no reason for a record like this.
They're trying to stop me. I felt like a target.
Tupac, your life has been marred by considerable pain. Do you think you'll ever get to the point where you can live a normal, happy life?
No, but I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. This is my story. I was there for the whole thing. No one else was there for the whole thing. I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world.